Welcome back. Our next guest has served as the Assembly of First Nations Yukon Regional Chief since 2018, where she's a strong advocate for women, youth, and leaders in the North and beyond.
We are thrilled to have her on The Social today to learn more about her position and work. Please welcome Yukon Regional Chief Kluane Adamek.
Thank you.
So Chief Adamek, you're not only the youngest serving Yukon Regional Chief, you're the youngest woman to ever serve. That is a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm curious to you, what does it mean to be a young leader in your community?
Well, it's really interesting. So in the Yukon, we come from a nation where women have always been the decision makers. So traditionally, which is very different, right, than this sort of like Western colonial system, women were always setting up the strategic alliances. And in fact, chief in some of our nations actually translates to speaker of the people. That is your role to be a speaker, but the decisions are made by the matriarchs, by the knowledge keepers, by the aunties and the grandmas. That is who we are. We're a matrilineal people, which I find sometimes in this political world, right? There's always this rub where you haven't seen in history as many women holding positions. However, women were always holding these positions in the past. So I might be the youngest now, but I really hope, I have a one-year-old at home. I really hope one day we see someone even younger than I who feels compelled and feels supported to step into her space.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Well, you currently hold the Assembly of First Nations national portfolios for climate change and the environment. Friday, for a lot of people, I don't know if they knew this, it was World Water Day, and this year's theme was Water for Peace. What should we be aware of when it comes to the future of water, and also specifically water's impact on Indigenous communities?
Well, it's so interesting. I'm compelled to, of course, acknowledge the territories by which we're having this conversation. Acknowledge the Haudenosaunee, the Huron, the Ojibwe, and the many other nations that have lived and traded and have called this area home. And we're on a huge body of water. And there's so many stories about what we call, Lake Ontario. And I would look to the nation holders, nation keepers, knowledge keepers of this region to talk about those stories. But what I can tell you is, for me, my traditional name is Age. And Age means daughter of the lake. Oh, wow. And so it's really, really important. And Kluane, for those who are interested in the environmental space, Kluane is a national park, but it's also my people. And so Lake of Many Whitefish, freshwater fish, that's another name that I carry. And so for us as Indigenous peoples, we didn't have, the sort of cobble roads that we would have seen, in Europe. We traveled through the waters, the rivers. That's how we're all connected. If you think even about the trees, right? Roots go so deep. That's how we're connected. And so for us as Indigenous women, not just in Canada, not just in the US, Turtle Island is sort of what we call North America. We have that responsibility as the caretakers for water. We think about women having babies, right? Babies grow in water. We're 80% water. We have that responsibility. And so as the climate portfolio holder, my responsibility is to advocate, but it's also to think about how do we make sure from this place of peace that it's also equitable. Like I, had a bottle of water this morning. There are still communities in Canada that don't have access to clean drinking water. I have a friend who is watching the show. She's from Maniwaki, Quebec. They still have to order in water to her reserve. She lives 2 hours outside of Ottawa. It's mind-blowing. So as a country and as women, we have a responsibility, right, to keep pushing, to make sure everyone has access to clean drinking water, but also just because we don't travel down those streams anymore doesn't mean the water shouldn't be clean. And that's where when we make decisions from an Indigenous worldview, it's never about the right now, right, or tomorrow. It's about 7 generations. And so if we could, as a country, make decisions from a place of 7 generations as opposed to 4-year election cycles, I feel like we'd be in a much better place.
Now, Chief Adamek, before you go, we have to ask you about these pins that are here. If you don't mind telling us about this quickly.
Absolutely. Heather Dixon, Kachla is her name, is an amazing designer. So if you will, she really was one of the inspirations in bringing back that traditional way of knowing and being through pins. So these are seaweed pins. I talked a little bit about connection to water. So these are seaweed pins, and you can hold on to yours. The seaweed is actually, this design was made by my great-great-grandmother.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And so Heather has taken that sort of, part of who we are and transitioned that into this beautiful piece of art. And she's made some amazing pieces for other stars, if you will. But, for all of you to take on and to continue your responsibility for creating these spaces, right? For people to talk about issues that are really important. But as women, as caretakers of the water, it's reminding us to be connected. And in the Yukon, our chiefs said, look, climate change, water, all of it, it's not us that are going to be depending on these decisions, right? It's the young people.
The kids in the future.
And so that's our plan. I invite you all to check out reconnection.vision. Our chiefs said to the young people, you make the plan. And they did it.
I love that.
Incredible.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
It's incredible. We could talk to you all afternoon. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you again for being here. Wonderful.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.